Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Prostrations to Bhagavan, Ramana, who shines as the Self in all beings. We begin today's Satsang with a prayer by Srimati Sapna Ganesh. This will be followed by the chanting of Muktaka trayam by Sri Nandakumarji.
दक्षिणामूर्तिसारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् रमणाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये आङ्गिकं भुवनं यस्य वाचिकं सर्ववाङ्मयम् आहार्यं चन्द्रतारादि तं नमः सात्विकं शिवम् ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय नमो रमण to everyone.
एकम् अक्षरम् हृदि निरन्तरम् आसते स्वयं लिख्यते हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ज्वहन्नहं प्रतिसाक्षात् आत्मयोगे हृदि विषमनसा चिन्वता मुच्यता पवनचलनं आत्मनिष्ठो देहं जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तद्भावशक्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्धा दृष्टात्मनिष्ठात्मना सोऽहं पूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः विभाति स्वयम्
Namo Ramana. We will now have the chanting of Upadesa Saram by Uma and Ashwini.
नमो रमण कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलं कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडं कृतिमहोदधौ पतनकारणं फलमशाश्वतं गतिनिरोधकम् ईश्वरार्पितं नेच्छया कृतं चित्तशोधकं मुक्तिसाधकं कायवाङ्मना कार्यमुत्तमं पूजनं जपश्चिन्तनं क्रमात् जगत ईषधी युक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिबृहद्देवपूजनम् उत्तमस्तपात् उच्चमन्दत चित्तजं जप ध्यानमुत्तमम् आद्यधारया स्रोतसा समं सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परं वेदभावनात् सोऽहमित्यसौ भावनाभिदा पावनीमता भावशून्यसद्भावसुस्थिति भावना बलात् भक्तिरुत्तमा हृत्स्थले मनः स्वस्थता क्रिया भक्तियोगबोधाश्च निश्चितम् नमो रमण
Namo Ramana. We will now have 4 songs from Ramananjali Sangeetam. The first song will be presented by Srimati V. Radha. The second song will be presented by Pratibha. The third song will be presented by Savitri Krishnan and Jaisriram Krishnan. The fourth song will be presented by Revathi.
Namo Ramana to all. Today I will be presenting a song written by Sri Siddhananda Bharati. The music is by Sri L. Krishnan. Ramana, 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 Parane, Guhane, Varane, Paripuranane, Varuvai, Parane, Guhane, Varane, Paripuranane, Varuvai, Viramaturiya Peruvin Virive, Piravanilaye, Piriya Urave, Ramana, 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 Karunalayane Varuvai, Kadirar Kadale Varuvai, Karunalayane Varuvai, Kadirar Kadale Varuvai, Uruhambadiyar Kurudit Porule, Tarunam Tarunam Dharani Karulvai, Uruhambadiyar Kurudit Porule, Tarunam Tarunam Dharani Karulvai, Ramana, 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 Adiyaridayaambuyane, Arunadahane Abhayam, Adiyaridayaambuyane, Arunadahane அபயம் துடியானிலையே சுடர்மாமணியே சுகநாயகனே அபயம் அபயம் துடியானிலையே சுடர்மாமணியே சுகநாயகனே அபயம் அபயம் ரமணா 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 நமோ ரமணா.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. This is a composition of Sri Satyamangalam Venkatramaiah. His composition is Ponnolir Pattu, and this is a Kannada translation by Dr. Lakshmi Narayan Bhatta and music by Sri H.K. Narayan. ಪಾಲಿಸು ನಮ್ಮನು ಗುರು ರಮಣ, ನಮ್ಮಾತ್ಮವ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿಕಿರಣ. ಪಾಲಿಸು ನಮ್ಮನು ಗುರು ರಮಣ, ನಮ್ಮಾತ್ಮವ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿಕಿರಣ. ಹೊನ್ನಿನ ಬಣ್ಣದ ಮೈಯವನೇ, ಚಿನ್ನರ ನಗೆಯನು ತಳೆದವನೇ. ಹೊನ್ನಿನ ಬಣ್ಣದ ಮೈಯವನೇ, ಚಿನ್ನರ ನಗೆಯನು ತಳೆದವನೇ. ಆತ್ಮದ ಅರಿವಿನ ಅನಂತ ಪರಿಮಳ, ಆತ್ಮದ ಅರಿವಿನ ಅನಂತ ಪರಿಮಳ, ಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹರಿಸಿದ ಋಷಿವರನೇ. ಪಾಲಿಸು ನಮ್ಮನು ಗುರು ರಮಣ, ನಮ್ಮಾತ್ಮವ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿಕಿರಣ. ಪಾಲಿಸು ನಮ್ಮನು ಗುರು ರಮಣ, ನಮ್ಮಾತ್ಮವ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿಕಿರಣ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ತಲೆ ಎತ್ತುವ ನೋವಿಗೆ ಕೊನೆ ಬರಲಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ತಲೆ ಎತ್ತುವ ನೋವಿಗೆ ಕೊನೆ ಬರಲಿ. ಸತ್ಯ ಕಾಮನೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಪಾದದಲ್ಲಿ, ಸತ್ಯ ಕಾಮನೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಪಾದದಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಟ್ಟೇನೋ ಶಿರವನು ಭಕ್ತಿಯಲಿ. ಪಾಲಿಸು ನಮ್ಮನು ಗುರು ರಮಣ, ನಮ್ಮಾತ್ಮವ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿಕಿರಣ. ಪಾಲಿಸು ನಮ್ಮನು ಗುರು ರಮಣ, ನಮ್ಮಾತ್ಮವ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿಕಿರಣ. ಉರಿಯುವ ದಿನಕರ ಬಿಂಬದಲ್ಲಿ, ತಂಪೆರೆಯುವ ಹುಣ್ಣಿಮೆ ಚಂದ್ರನಲ್ಲಿ. ಉರಿಯುವ ದಿನಕರ ಬಿಂಬದಲ್ಲಿ, ತಂಪೆರೆಯುವ ಹುಣ್ಣಿಮೆ ಚಂದ್ರನಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಿರಿಯುವ ಹೂವಿನ ಎದೆಯಲಿ, ಬಿರಿಯುವ ಹೂವಿನ ಎದೆಯಲಿ, ನಿನ್ನ ಸತ್ಯವೇ ಅರಳಿದೆ ನಿತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ಪಾಲಿಸು ನಮ್ಮನು ಗುರು ರಮಣ, ನಮ್ಮಾತ್ಮವ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿಕಿರಣ. 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 ನಮ್ಮಾತ್ಮವ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿಕಿರಣ, ನಮ್ಮಾತ್ಮವ ಬೆಳಗುವ ರವಿಕಿರಣ.
இளங்குயிலே அண்ணலிடம் எனக்காக நீ சென்று
விளங்கும் உனதருள் தாக வேட்கையினால் வெம்புகின்றாள் இளங்குயிலே அண்ணலிடம் எனக்காக நீ சென்று விளங்க முனதருள் தாக வேட்கையினால் வெம்புகின்றாள் களங்கமில்லா அருள் விடம்பே கண்ணே ஸ்ரீரமணேஷா களங்கமில்லா அருள் பீடம்பே கண்ணே ஸ்ரீரமணேஷா வளங்க நின்ற மலை மருந்தே வாவென்று பூவாயோ வளங்க நின்ற மலை மருந்தே வாவென்று பூவாயோ அண்ணாமலை நினைந்தே அழன்மெழுகாய் உருகி உள்ளம் புண்ணாகி புலம்புகின்றாள் போய் ஒரு கால் பாராயோ அண்ணாமலை நினைந்தே அழன்மெழுகாய் உருகி உள்ளம் புண்ணாகி புலம்புகின்றாள் போய் ஒரு கால் பாராயோ எண்ணாத மனதாகும் இரண்டு பயரமணேஷா எண்ணாத மனதாகும் இரண்டு பயரமணேஷா கண்ணாளவாவென்றே கனிவோடே கூவாயோ கண்ணாளவாவென்றே கனிவோடே கூவாயோ திருச்சுழியின் செல்வரடி தீண்டாமல் தெருநாய் போல் இருக்க மனம் சகியாமல் ஏதோ புலம்புகின்றாள் திருச்சுழியின் செல்வரடி தீண்டாமல் தெருநாய் போல் இருக்க மனம் சகியாமல் ஏதோ புலம்புகின்றாள் உருக்கிய செம்பொன் போன்ற ஒளிமலைய ரமணேஷா உருக்கிய செம்பொன் போன்ற ஒளிமலைய ரமணேஷா சுருக்கெனவே வாவென்றே சொல்லெடுத்து பூவாயோ சுருக்கெனவே வாவென்றே சொல்லெடுத்து பூவாயோ கரம் பூண்டவளை கழல கண்ணழக கால் தளர மரம் போன்றே கிடக்கின்றாள் மன்னவனின் மலரடிகள் கரம் பூண்டவளை கழல கண்ணழக கால் தளர மரம் போன்றே கிடக்கின்றாள் மன்னவனின் மலரடிகள் சிரம் பூண கொடுப்பீரேல் ஜீவன் வரும் ரமணேஷா சிரம் பூண கொடுப்பீரேல் ஜீவன் வரும் ரமணேஷா வரம் வேண்டும் வரல் வேண்டும் பாவென்று கூவாயோ வரம் வேண்டும் வரல் வேண்டும் வாவென்று கூவாயோ வா
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Muruganar Swami says, Tale mele kaalidalu jeevisuve Ramanesha. Same concept is told by Sadhu Om Swami. Let us keep his pada on our head so that there is life, the life force flows within us. Let us sing his name, saying Bhagavan Ramana, Ramana, Ramana. That is what Radha auntie also sang. Ramana, Ramana, Ramana. Let us all sing his name. When we sing his name, what happens? The all thoughts are gone and the mind gets into the Hridaya Kuharam. And when we merge there he is. And the Sadguru takes care of us as to whatever we have to do or not to do. So when he is taking care of everything, the rich, poor, the richness, the poverty, the kirti, apakirti, good name, bad name, good things, bad things, manchidi, chedulu, everything is only him because he is the one who gives life to everything. When we surrender ourselves to that Sadguru, Sadhu Om Swami says, we can't even think of anything other than Ramana. Because if we forget Ramana, there is nothing else, there is no life. Bhagavan says, if you realize that you are the self, if you realize that the self is alone, and that power of the self makes everything happen, there is none other, there is nothing else which is there. But we see many things around us. We should remember that everything is only Ramana. And that Ramana is shining within our heart. I present to you a Telugu translation of Sadhu Om Swami's Bhagavan Ramananaye Padugirom. Telugu translation is by Y.V. Venkatesh Rao. The music is by L. Krishnan and Rajkumar Bharti. భగవాన్ రమణ అని పాడుకుందామతని పాదములను మన తలపై ధరించుదాం. భగవాన్ రమణ అని పాడుకుందామతని పాదములను మన తలపై ధరించుదాం. హృదయ కుహరమునందు చేరుకుందాం. సద్గురు దీవనతో భువిని నడుచుకుందాం. హృదయ కుహరమునందు చేరుకుందాం. సద్గురు దీవనతో భువిని నడుచుకుందాం. భగవాన్ రమణ అని పాడుకుందాం. అతని పాదములను మన తలపై ధరించుదాం. కలిమిలేములన్నీ కీర్త్యపకీర్తులన్నీ మంచియు చెడులన్నీ అంతా రమణుకెరుగా. కలిమిలేను అలలన్నీ కీర్త్యపకీర్తులన్నీ మంచియు చెడులన్నీ అంతా రమణుకెరుగా. భగవాన్ సన్నిధిలో సర్వము సమర్పిద్దాం. భగవాన్ సన్నిధిలో సర్వము సమర్పిద్దాం. రమణని మరచినచో ఈ తలపులన్నీ సాధ్యమా. రమణుని మరచినచో ఈ తలపులన్నీ సాధ్యమా. భగవాన్ రమణ అని పాడుకుందాం. అతని పాదములను మన తలపై ధరించుదాం. ఉన్నావని నమ్మినచో వేరే సుఖము లేదు. ఉన్నది నీ శక్తి దక్క ఎందగ అన్యము లేదు. ఉన్నావని నమ్మినచో వేరే సుఖము లేదు ఉన్నది నీ శక్తి దక్క ఎన్నగ అన్యము లేదు. ఎందరో ఉన్నారన్ని నేవనెత్తయవరు లేరు, ఎందరో ఉన్నారైన నేవనెత్తయవరు లేరు. ఉన్నది రమణునడొక్కడే అతడే మన పరమాత్ముడు. ఉన్నది రమణుడొక్కడే అతడే మన పరమాత్ముడు. భగవాన్ రమణ అని పాడుకుందామతని పాదములను మన తలపై ధరించిదాం. భగవాన్ రమణ అని పాడుకుందాం అతని పాదములను మన తలపై ధరించుదాం. అతని పాదములను మన తలపై ధరించుదాం. అతని పాదములను మన తలపై ధరించుదాం. Namo Ramana. We will now have reading and sharing from the book Ramana's Muruganar by Sri Nandakumarji.
Namo Ramana. In this, the book reading segment of our Satsang, we continue to read from Ramana's Muruganar, a birth centenary offering, compiled and edited by Shri A.R. Natarajanji, our founder president. We have been reading the account of Kanakamal, and we will probably finish the account of Kanakamal by going through the last few anecdotes narrated by her on Muruganar and Bhagavan. Aviyal and Adiyamma. Aviyal and Adiyamma is an anecdote. Every visitor and devotee coming to Sri Ramanacentre would invariably be invited to join for breakfast, lunch or dinner. Bhagavan just would not tolerate anyone going hungry. Once, an Andhra lady from Nellore came to the ashram. Her name was Adiyamma. She was a friend of Subbulakshmi Amma, the kitchen assistant who hailed from the same place, Nellore. Whenever Bhagavan sat for food, he would look around and make sure that everyone was comfortably seated. He would keep a watchful eye to prevent any partiality on the part of the helpers. One day, he noticed that Adiyamma was standing near a leaf plate opposite to him. He asked her, "Why are you standing? Please sit down for your meal." Hearing this, the lady was extremely pleased. Was it not a privilege to be requested to eat by Bhagavan himself? The next day also, she was standing at the same place without sitting down for food. Thinking that she was not yet familiar with the ashram customs, Bhagavan asked her on the second day also to join everyone for food. Apparently, this went to her head. She thought how nice it would be to take up position on the same spot on the third day. How wonderful would it be to be invited by Bhagavan to join for lunch. Ramana noticed this, and not wishing to encourage her into thinking that she was being given some special treatment, he said nothing and she kept standing. After some time, Subbulakshmi Amma came to serve a special delicacy, aviyal, to Bhagavan and others. Noticing that her friend was standing, she whispered to Bhagavan about it. Bhagavan then remarked, "Adiyamma has her friend Subbulakshmi Amma to take care of her. But who takes care for Muruganar? Who would invite him to join us for food? Aviyal has been made today. It is Muruganar's favorite dish, but who bothers?" When Bhagavan said this with concern, everyone around could feel the depth of love which he had for Muruganar. Shantamma, hearing this, told Bhagavan that she would take up the responsibility of serving the aviyal to Muruganar that day. Saying this, she put an adequate quantity of aviyal in some container and went post-haste to Palakattur, where Muruganar was staying. Just then, Muruganar had left for begging for alms. he had reached the Dakshinamurti temple a few yards from the ashram, a few yards after the ashram gate. Shantama ran after him. Panting for breath, she told Bhagavan about Muruganar about Bhagavan's loving remarks. He was simply overwhelmed. He turned red in his face. Overcome with the thought of the Sadguru's care for him, he just sat down at the steps of the temple. He took the avial as if it was manna from heaven. Was it not his Sadguru's compassionate gift? Prasada, Bhagavan had a mother's care for all devotees, but he had a special soft corner for Muruganar, who had completely surrendered to him and depended solely on his grace. Muruga Mayavan. Devotees used to sing the compositions of Muruganar from his Ramana Sannidhi Murai. One can say it was a perennial favorite, for it is an outpouring of love for Ramana in all possible human emotions. Some of the songs were what is termed as Shringara Bhava, or mood of love, love for Sadguru Ramana, and the suffering due to separation was the theme. Muruganar's wife, Meenakshi Amma, was a regular visitor to the ashram. Bhagavan was invariably considerate to her and wanted to satisfy her simple desires. Give her good coffee, she loves it, he would say. On one of her visits, Meenakshi had a long list of complaints against Muruganar for having completely neglected him. Ramana gave a patient hearing. Then, when Meenakshi started reading some songs from Sannidhi Murai, as usual, he took the book from her and told her, "Sing the song Ramana Mayavan." As soon as Muruganar comes to the hall, he added, "Change the words Ramana Mayavan to Muruga Mayavan." Change the words Ramana Mayavan to Muruga Mayavan. The innocent Meenakshi readily consented. The gist of these songs is that a lovelorn lady expresses to her companion her longing for Ramana and suffering caused by his indifference to her love. After some time, Muruganar came and sat at his usual place. Immediately, Meenakshi started singing the song, substituting the word Muruga for Ramana. When the first few lines were sung, Muruganar took no note of it, for Ramana was regarded by many as the incarnation of Shiva's younger son Muruga. He overlooked it when she repeated it in some more verses. But as it proceeded, Muruganar noticed the mischievous smile of Ramana and inferred that it was his play. He got up to leave. Bhagavan told him, "Why do you leave the place just because it is sung as Murugamayavan? Then, should I follow suit when it is sung as Ramana Mayavan?" Muruganar kept silent and left the place. On another occasion, Muruganar was distributing the offering to those present in the hall. The prasadam distribution he was doing, but did not give it to Meenakshi, who was also there. When Meenakshi complained to Bhagavan, Bhagavan asked him, "Why did you omit Muruganar? Why did you omit Meenakshi alone?" Muruganar said, "The others popped out their hands, but she did not." She had fondly hoped that Muruganar would speak to her and ask her to stretch out her hands. Who is Brahman? In the first few years after settling down at Sri Ramanashramam, Muruganar still continued to do the prescribed ceremonies for his parents. Gradually, as the years rolled by, they were forgotten. However, one year he remembered his mother's death tithi. He bathed very early, washed his dhoti, spread it separately for drying, and started cutting the vegetables with a wet cloth around his waist in accordance with the orthodox rules. Bhagavan came into the dining hall as usual for cutting vegetables. He noticed Muruganar's dhoti being spread out for drying. He also noticed Muruganar cutting some vegetables with a wet towel on. He guessed the cause. Speaking to Muruganar, as if he remembered the matter just then, he said, "Oh, all this is for the annual ceremony of your late mother, is it? Who is the Brahmin you have asked to officiate?" Muruganar remained silent. Bhagavan continued, fine, I will be one of the Brahmins for officiating. Who will be the second one? Muruganar did not reply even to this. Then Bhagavan continued, all right, let Rangarao, who is in charge of cooking, be the second person. Muruganar could readily understand that Bhagavan was speaking in this strain in order to rid him of the scriptural Shastra Vasanas. He also felt that the moment Bhagavan mentioned that he would be one of the Brahmins to officiate during the obsequies, not only his parents, but also all his ancestors would have attained liberation. What need was there anymore for these ceremonies? So he lost all interest in them. See, the Jiva Bhava doesn't go that easily. The attachment to the journey we have made as Jiva doesn't go easily, and that blocks abidance in the self. So only the Guru who can give the adequate push at that time. See, you are preventing yourself from gaining that treasure which is so invaluable and going back to your false Jiva Bhava. And that only Guru Ramana can give, and that's what he was giving to Muruganar. Even so, on another occasion, on the death tithi of his mother, he entered the kitchen with a jackfruit. At that time, Bhagavan was giving some instructions about cooking. As soon as he saw Muruganar, he remarked, it must be for his mother's annual ceremony. That is why he has brought this fruit. What is to be done? Whatever he is told, the tendencies remain strong. Whatever he is told, the tendencies remain strong, says Guru. The message went home again with great force. He put a definite full stop to it. One can see thus that Bhagavan had taken up the responsibility of ensuring that Muruganar was rid of all his tendencies and was made absolutely poor. The last anecdote I will take up, though it's a little bit beyond time. Saraswati Puja. Navaratri Puja was being celebrated in the Matrabhuteshwara temple. It was Saraswati Puja day. As a mark of it, some books had been worshipped and placed on a table adjacent to Bhagavan's sofa. As soon as Muruganar came into the hall, he stood perplexed, as he could not understand why such a worship was done in Bhagavan's presence. For him, Bhagavan was the supreme, the repository of all knowledge. He felt the futility of offering worship to some books, that too in the very presence of Bhagavan. Bhagavan, sensing the drift of his thoughts, gave a knowing smile. Muruganar composed a poem to bring out the absurd nature of the situation and left. The meaning of this composition runs thus. Your beautiful form is like an image made of sugar, which comes from the boiling the juice of the ripe sugar cane, which has been crushed and filtered. Your sacred body is the very essence of Vedas. Before you, these scriptures are like mere crushed sugar cane, the waste, the pulp, the what is coming out as the fiber. Those are the books, he says. Looking at it from another angle, the worship books seem to say, is it not because you studied us that you are able to see the glory of the golden form of Ramana? Should we not be honored at least for this? We should remember that Muruganar was given Bhagavan's books, Aksharamanamalai and Nanyar, by Dandapani Swami, his father-in-law. And after reading them only, he came to the Guru. Therefore, he composes that, appears the books were telling him, hey, did you not come to Bhagavan? Only after reading us. For that reason, at least, should you not worship us? The books seem to talk to him like that. Later, Muruganar remarked that this worship was like ignoring the physical presence of Bhagavan and offering incense to his photograph. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri.
No, Ramana. We will now have a self-enquiry session and thoughts about self-enquiry by Sri Dileep Simha.
Namo Ramana. ध्यायेत् शारदचन्द्रसूर्यसमम् कौपीनमात्रोज्ज्वलम् स्वात्मानन्दरसानुभूतिविवशम् सर्वानवद्याङ्गकम् श्रीमन्तं श्रीरमणेश्वरं गुरुवरं योगासनाध्यासितं ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरं ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रं यहमहमिति साक्षादात्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वतामच्युतव पवनचलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम्। Namo Ramana. We will commence the Atma Vicharam by first listening to Bhagavan's Upadesha and meditating on it. I will be reading his Upadesham from the book Guruvachaka Kovai from the chapter Meditation on the Truth. The topic is the power of yoga. Verse 696. Those who have gained in this birth the Gnana Siddhi, attainment of Gnana, that frees them from bondage, through the faultless way of the kitten, that is, solely through the power of the God's grace, without any personal effort, have, like a baby monkey, practiced in their previous births servitude to God by holding on to Him with effort. I repeat the verse. Those who have gained in this birth the Gnana Siddhi, attainment of Gnana, that frees them from bondage through the faultless way of the kitten, that is, solely through the power of God's grace, without any personal effort, have, like a baby monkey, practiced in their previous births servitude to God by holding on to Him with effort. In this verse, Bhagavan is beautifully saying or compress the entire sadhana, and perhaps if you are looking for milestones in sadhana, he has also said what are the milestones that we can look for. The Gnana Bhagavan talks about, the Gnana Siddhi Bhagavan talks about, is the revelation of that truth, that self alone is, everything is nothing but the self. The sadhaka, however, finds that he is still an individual and cannot experience this Gnana Siddhi. He feels he has to do something, he has to know something, he has to do something to get there. So Bhagavan is saying that Gnana, that everything is the self, doesn't come about by knowing or doing, but it comes like the kitten. Bhagavan calls it like the faultless way of the kitten. like how the kitten is simply surrendered, having no idea how to go about to achieve it, and waits for the loving mother, as Nandakumarji said, the motherly love of Bhagavan, who take care of taking Aviyal to Muruganar Swami. So, it is the grace of the Guru, Bhagavan says here, which bestows that Jnana Siddhi, after which nothing else remains because there is only self. Self alone is, that is the Jnana, and that is the Jnana Siddhi. And that, Bhagavan is saying, comes only by the grace of the Guru on the faultless way of the kitten. That is, the one to whom it is given would have completely surrendered to that Guru's grace, Guru and the Guru's grace, which is not different. But however, when we start the journey of the sadhana, we believe in being an individual, and as Nandakumarji said, this Jiva Bhava is very hard to give up. That Vasana is there. So long as that is there, what is that one needs to do? And in here, Bhagavan is telling, like a baby monkey, practice, and practice what the Guru has given as Upadesha. And Bhagavan says, holding on to him with effort in previous births. Every time we have the Jiva Bhava, it is having taken a birth because we have become an individual. So long as this birth is happening, Bhagavan is saying, like a monkey, practice and practice with servitude, with full surrender to God. And what is God? God is everything. So full servitude, with the practice of what the Guru has given. If we keep on doing it for many lives, as it has been said, then the faultless way of the kitten would come. In the Vedantic way, it is said the Chitta Shuddhi would happen. All the tendencies would go away, and that Chitta will be ready to receive the grace of the Guru. Until such time, Bhagavan says, we have to continue to practice so long as we feel we are an individual. And we also have seen all the great ones, whenever they acted with a sense of individuality and somebody made it clear to them, they have again surrendered to that being who made it, like a guru, considering them as the Guru, and have done servitude to them so that they can let go that tendency and get back to that one single truth. This is the whole journey, says Bhagavan here, until the grace bestows, like how Arunachala kept Bhagavan with him, and like that we need to ask Bhagavan to keep this abundant grace at his feet. And that is the path for that is the siddhi that we need to seek from him. So the abundant grace of Bhagavan, with which alone we have come to this most direct path, for the next 10 minutes, no matter how many thoughts come, if we inquire to whom is this, it is clear it is for me. That is, that I have taken a birth as an individual, as a jiva. Immediately, we, being the baby monkey, should hold on to the enquiry, Bhagavan's Upadesham to us. To whom is this? Who am I? And by that very question of who am I, we are offering whatever thought which has come to the God within, the Guru within. And that is the true servitude. And we should keep on practicing this. And Bhagavan says, when the Chitta Shuddhi happens, then the grace of the Guru, which was always there, makes one realize that truth, which is self alone, is with his abundant grace. Until such time, we should diligently practice Atma Vichara. For the next 10 minutes, let us practice Atma Vichara. Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. We will now have the sharing of Anma Bodham by Sri Venkatesh Deshpande ji sir.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviram Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Dhyanamoolam Gurormurtihi, Pujamoolam Gurur Padam, Mantramulam Vakyam, Mokshamulam Guru Kripa, Mokshamulam Guru. Namo Ramana. We're doing Manana on Atma Bodham. The last Satsang we did Manana on verse number 30, and let's do a quick recap of that. Having neglected all limiting equipments, upadhis, with the declaration, not this, not this, one should realize the oneness of the individual Atman and the Supreme Brahman through the Mahavakyas, Vedic aphorisms. The Supreme Self is realized through the two processes of negation of the unreal and the assertion of the real. The unreal comprises the gross, subtle, and causal bodies, and they are objects of experience. The real is the Atman, pure consciousness, which functions through these equipments. When you identify with your equipments, you imagine yourself to be the limited person suffering the joys and sorrows of the world. To redeem yourself from these entanglements, you have to reverse the process which you have been following hitherto by not identifying with the equipments. You achieve this by suggesting to yourself that you are not the gross body, the subtle body, or the causal body, nor any one of their manifestations. Negating thus the unreal aspect of life, you assert your real nature in order to get yourself firmly established in the reality. Once you have established therein, you have no chance of falling into limitation again. The declarations of the Vedas are contained in the four Mahavakyas. Prajnanam Brahman, consciousness is Brahman. Tattvamasi, that thou art. I am Atma Brahma, this self is Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, I am the Brahman. The apparent dualisms is created in these aphorisms on account of the dual conditioning with reference to which reality is pointed out. With reference to the microcosms,
The reality is called Atma, and with reference to the macrocosms as the Brahman. In fact, both are the same infinite, all-pervading reality. So the following three stanzas, namely 31, 32, and 33, enumerate the process of negation of the unreal phenomena of the pluralistic world. So let's do Manana on verse number 31. I request Sapna to kindly chant the verse, please.
Yes, sir. Namo Ramana. अविद्यकं शरीरादि दृश्यं बुद्बुदवत्क्षरम् एतद्विलक्षणं विद्यात् अहं ब्रह्म इति निर्मलम् अविद्यकं शरीरादि दृश्यं बुद्बुदवत्क्षरम् एतद्विलक्षणं विद्यात् अहं ब्रह्म इति निर्मलम्. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sapna. Visible objects like the body, etc., are born out of ignorance and are evanescent like bubbles. One should realize the immaculate Brahman different from these as I am Brahman. The ignorance of self, avidya, is the cause for the pluralistic world, which comprises the body and its perceptions, the mind and its emotions, and the intellect and its thoughts. This phenomenal world called Drishyam, perceivable objects, is transient and perishable, in contrast with the permanent, imperishable Atma. A beautiful sentence. This phenomenal world called Drishyam, perceivable objects, is transient and perishable, in contrast with the permanent, imperishable Atma. As long as your attention is on your physical body and its demands, you behave as a mere senseless creature. When you withdraw your attention from the body and dwell more on your feelings and emotions, you become an emotional being. Again, by withdrawing your concentration from your body and mind and directing it to the intellect and its activities, you turn into an intellectual personality. Likewise, when you withdraw from all these, the three equipments and powerfully suggest to yourself that you are the Supreme Self, you will assert your real nature, the all-pervading reality. Thus, continuing to contemplate and meditate upon the self, you merge with Brahman. The metaphor compares the beings and things of the world to mere bubbles on the surface of water. Bubbles arise out of water, exist in water, and finally merge into water. Even when they assume a separate existence apart from the water below, bubbles are in essence nothing but water. Similarly, the individuals, their equipments, and the objects of experience are in essence Brahman. Even while experiencing the pluralistic world, you should try to recognize the underlying Brahman upon which the world appears to exist. To realize Brahman, you must first study, analyze, and discriminate the perishable nature of the body, mind, and intellect, and the world of plurality to realize Brahman, you must first study, analyze, and discriminate the perishable nature of the body, mind, and intellect, and the world of plurality from the imperishable self. Thereafter, negate the perishable world and assert the imperishable self as real by repeatedly suggesting to yourself, I am the Supreme Self, I am the pure Brahman. By this process, you get more and more established in the Brahman. So beautifully said, talked about the imperishable and perishable. That's why human beings have viveka and vairagya, to be able to understand what is real, what is and what is unreal. And we have to continuously use our viveka and vairagya internally to really understand what are we trying to chase. If we are trying to do anything, is this taking us to the Nitya or to the Anitya? Is this part of Nitya or this part of Anitya? It's a very important thing in whatever we do in our life. So, important thing here, what is being talked about here is that we should, whenever we are trying to do something, is this taking us to God or not? Is this taking us to the self or not? Is this taking us to the objects outside? You want to buy something. Is it going to make us more outwardly or inward? So this is a very important thing. And as we assert ourselves with the Mahavakya, we say Tattvamasi, the Guru says Tattvamasi, and that will, we must experience that. So Shramana, Manana, Nididhyasana is very, very important. That's why we continuously have these satsangs, to be able to continuously give us a reminder that we are that. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana.
Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle. We will now have the chanting of Aksharamanamalai by Srimati Radha.
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. சோம்பியா சும்மா சுகமுண்டுறங்கிடிற் சொல்வேரென் கதி அருணாச்சலா. சௌரியம் காட்டினை செழக்கற்றதென்றே சலியாதிருந்தாய் அருணாச்சலா. நமலியிற் கேடார் நான் என்னுறுதியல் நாடி நின்னுருவேன் அருணாச்சலா. ஞானம் இல்லாதுன் ஆசையற்றழவர ஞானம் தெரித்தருள் அருணாச்சலா. நிம்மிரு பொனியும் மலர்ந்தில்லை என்றே நேர் நின்றன என் அருணாச்சலா. தத்துவம் தெரியாத தனை ஊற்றாய் தத்துவமிதுவென் அருணாச்சலா. தானே தானே தத்துவமிதனை தானே காட்டுவாய் அருணாச்சலா. திரும்பி அகந்தனை தினமாக கண்காண் தெரியும் என்றென்ன என் அருணாச்சலா. தீரமில் அகத்தில் தேடி உந்தனையான் திரும்ப உற்றேன் அருள் அருணாச்சலா. துப்பறிவில்லாயிப்பிறப்பெண் பயன் ஒப்பிடவாயேன் அருணாச்சலா. தூய்மன மொழியர் தோயும் உண்மையகம் தோயவே அருளென் அருணாச்சலா. தெய்வம் என்றுன்னை சாரவே என்னை சேர ஒழித்தாய் அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ 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 அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சலம் வாழி அன்பர்களும் வாழி. அக்ஷரமணமாலை வாழி. நமோ ரமணா.
Namo Ramana. We conclude today's satsang with the Ashtottara puja to Bhagavan. The Ashtottara puja will be done by Sri Dileep Simha at his altar. Chanting of Ashtottaram will be done by Revathi and Uma Shripati. भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामावली अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशेर् यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरम् भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामावली अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशेर् यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। ॐ महासेनमहों शेनजाताय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः। ॐ गुरवे नमः। ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः। ॐ महौजसे नमः। ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः। ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः। ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः। ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः। ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः। ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः। ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः। ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः। ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः। ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः। ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः। ॐ तीव्राय नमः। ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ॐ इन्दुमौळिना पितृमते नमः। ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रधिये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपःक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः।
ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्री शोणाचलहृद्भूत स्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविदायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ हृच्चान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणात्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसाराणवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रीशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः।
ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामपूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थाणोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्या जनिं प्राप्य तद् दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाहविवशस्तादात्म्यभावं गतः हृन्निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनास्येकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। नमो 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 रमण सदाशिवप्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि दर्शनसुखमङ्गलमुखसकलजीवहितसम्मुख ब्रह्मसङ्गिये सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिवानन्दपुष्ट परममहर्षि ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शी नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತಿಹೆ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡುತ್ತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೋಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಘಿಯೇ ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ ಪ್ರಭಾವರಣ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ ಪ್ರಭಾವರಣ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ बोलो भगवान श्री रमण महर्षि की जय
जय